right, everybody, we're gonna get started here then. Now that those ads are over. And we're just gonna jump right back in here to where we were before, just working on our alcohol system here and setting up the purge valve, etc. Okay, so we're just grabbing a couple of different things here, making sure different things are on, off, etc. And so that wasn't the valve we needed. It's actually the digital valve that we're gonna need here. There we go. And with the digital valve, we just gotta check, see, like, make sure that we have a couple of things here, because we do want the vent to basically pass air back and forth between the two different rooms. And I'm pretty sure that this is terrible for telling you exactly what's happening with it. So we're just gonna check here. Digital valve. Stationeers. Just gotta check the wiki online, see if it gives a better description. There we go. Let's take a look. So locking it, locks it, does not function. On, turns the pipe valve on when set to 1. Turns it off when set to 0 for on. Okay, great. Okay. Returns a range from 0 to 1. Does not function. Assumption returns the percentage of opening of the digital valve. Required power. Nope. Ratio. Nope. Power. Yep. On. Nothing to tell us anything about the direction or anything of the like. So what we're going to have to do then is do some testing. Because it really doesn't tell us. That's really terrible. It absolutely has no way to tell us which direction it's going or the amount for it. That's really disappointing. Okay, let's try looking up the turbo pump. Yeah, because it also doesn't tell us which way it's going to go. That's really disappointing. There's no way to set it up so that you can control the direction. Let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, there really isn't a way to flip that. That's kind of disappointing. What about vents? Because there's got to be a way to do it with the vents. So, okay, so it's mode for the vents, but... Okay, so there's a mode for that. How about for the digital valve? Digital. There's no mode for it. It's just power and a setting. That's super disappointing. That is so disappointing. Okay. Wild that there isn't that option on there. Okay. Let's see. What would allow us to do this? Basically, what we're trying to do is set it up so that as long as the gas values are fine in the room, they should be able to interact with the other room without a problem. But it doesn't appear that there's any way to do that, because this doesn't have a connection. For the valve vent. That's super disappointing. Okay. Valve. I'm so disappointed. Valves, vents, let's see what else could do it. Cowl, what's... How does the pipe cowl work? Yeah, so that would still require... Okay, I guess what we're gonna do here is a quick test. We're going to take down this digital valve and do some testing on it, because I can't believe that there's absolutely no way to do a passive vent like this where you're not pumping air in either direction and you're just closing off a particular pipe when certain conditions are met. Okay, so okay, of course you're flashing an error. We're just gonna go ahead and throw 2 pipes like that. And okay, so it's on. Okay, so I guess that just means that the valve only allows... Okay. So it's not actually pumping anything. Okay. I, for some reason, expected this to allow pumping of air, but seeing as it doesn't, that's fine. It means what I thought wasn't going to work is going to work totally fine for what I want. Great. Happy. Happy about that little accident. Not so much accident as design, I suppose, but, you know. There we go. Move those around. Okay. So what we're doing is this can go off, so can this for now, just so we're not wasting power. Let's open up our laptop, do some programming here. So we've got our fermenter, our sensor, our vent, our valve, and our door. Okay, so all this is doing is saying that if we have too much methane in the room, it's gonna dump the air. That's our goal here. And basically we don't want to empty our entire habitat. We only want to dump the air in this one room. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take that valve. We're going to change it to R2. Basically, all we need to happen is we need to say that if R1 is equal to 0, then we are going to keep Stationeers. Sorry, just looking up what our command for this is. Stationeers flip a register's value and assign to a new one. I'm sure there's going to be a code for it. XOR. Yeah, great. So what we need to do is we're going to say, okay, performs a bitwise logical XOR exclusive OR operation on the binary representation of two values. Each bit of the result is determined by evaluating the corresponding bits of the input values. If the bits are different, one bit is 0 and the other is 1, the resulting bit is set to 1. If the bits are the same, both 0 or both 1, the resulting bit is set to 0. Great. So that means R2 is the bit we're going to, the registry we are assigning to. And we need to take registry 1 and registry 2. And we need to set R2 no, we could just read it. We should just be able to read it. If we just go L R2, device being valve, logic type is on, that'll just write it to it, and we just need to make sure it's on when we start. So if we just have all of that going and we just go S valve logic type on no, we're gonna have to read it into flip R0 and assign to R1. Yeah, no, we want to do a NOR, I think, not a XOR. Should make it easier because we're just flipping 2. So if we go NOR, you're not going to give us the full. There we go. Performs bitwise logic, not OR. On the binary of two values, each bit of the result is determined by evaluating the corresponding bits of the input. If both bits are 0, the resulting bit is set to 1. Otherwise, if at least one bit is 1, the resulting bit is set to 0. And maybe we want a different one. If the register is 0, sets it to 1. Otherwise, sets it to 0. Oh no, okay, that is right. Okay, so if we go sekiz, registry equals 1 if A is equal to 0, otherwise 0. Yeah, okay, that is right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, great. SEQZ. R2, and we're getting R1. Just double check this again. Register equals 1 if A equals 0. And SLT, just to make sure that I have this all correct, SLT, register equals 1 if A is less than B, otherwise 0. Yeah, great. So that will turn the valve on if R1 is 0. Otherwise, it turns the valve off. The vent will turn on if the amount of CH is too high. Okay, good. So that is all that needs to do. And we're going to lock the door at the same time. So what we'll do is S door. I need to double check the logic for doors. I don't check it often enough. Door. We're going to say composite door. Lock. On idle. Probably lock. And probably mode. My bet would be mode. Oh, there's a straight up open one. Oh, I guess we could get rid of that vent and that valve by just using the door. No, no, no. We're gonna keep it this way. Yeah, basically what we're gonna do is lock it. All we need to do is lock it. S door. And the lock is going to be unlocked on 0, so that means S door on, no, lock, R1. Great, and that will keep it closed. And the last thing we need to do is say S fermenter on 0. It needs to turn off immediately. And then 2, 4, 5. So we could add a light. Adding a light's probably a good idea in the future, but I think this is fine for now. Yield J main. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, that should work. Okay. So we'll confirm that. We're going to export it, close the laptop, put our laptop back in our here. And we're going to do a test because obviously we don't want this like screwing up real bad or anything. Where's our door kit? There we go. Composite door, and that should need like plastic. And the welding torch. There we go. Crowbar and one piece of glass. fantastic. And I think I actually like that staying there and then having it, like, this whole space, we don't need it for fermenting. Just these 4 squares would probably be enough. And actually, we could probably even get away with only 2. Oh, we're gonna try and get away with 2. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's see if we can't get away with only 2. Maybe. Yeah, we could push it back by 1. And then we'd probably be able to get away with it. Okay, let's give it a try here. Where's our wrench? There it is. And grab those 2, and then we need an angle grinder for that. And then we're gonna need the wrench to finish disassembling it. Oh, hey Dar, how are you doing? Sorry, it took me a moment there. Yeah, we're doing some alcohol stuff here. Fermenter posting today. Yep. We are doing our fermenter at the moment. Just like, I'm setting up some basic logic for it. Yeah, I honestly, I'm wanted to try something shiny. That's all. You can't see my face, but I got like a... No, you did not miss the rocket launch. I specifically made sure I didn't launch the rocket before you were here. I felt like you and Fish ideally would both be here for it. Here is the rocket. Balin gave me lots of crap for it yesterday, so I rebuilt it a couple of times. But here's our rocket. 3 batteries, 2 scanners, 1 of each kind, and then, you know, all our good stuff in here. Still gotta skin it, but yeah. Aw, thank y'all. I wanted to make it as small as I could for the first scanner. And I even looked at trying to add a little bit of mining to it and then decided not to. Yeah, and then we've also got this kind of set up now over here for our computer station, and I didn't want to run heavy cable across, so I just used the power omnis for it. Let's see what else has happened since you've seen. This is up here now. So this is our oh so lovely, very basic. Exactly, not much fuel. That's the whole goal. Oh, just let me switch our tanks over here. There we go. And then we've got 2,000, almost 3,000 mole nitrogen here and almost 3,000 CH4. And that's just from our little composter here. So we do have some compost constantly doing its thing. And I don't know if you were here when we expanded the solar field. I think you were. But yeah. So we've got lots going on with it. And then we're working on a little script for our fermenter and setting up the purge valve. And yeah, here is where we're at. And I'm just kind of trying to decide how exactly I want to do this. And I'm thinking that we may end up changing how I initially thought I was going to do this. This fermenter may end up moving down 1, and I'm looking at it, and I think that's what's going to happen, is we're going to move the fermenter a little bit here, because I do want to make this pretty as we're going here. I decided to slow down how quick I was working on these things, and thought, you know what, I'm not enjoying how quick I'm trying to do this. I play this game for enjoyment. Let's take a breath and get it done the way that I would actually like to see it. So we have delayed going to Vulcan to get that done, because I want to show off how I can actually make things look nice in this game, because of how often I just get things done and move on to the next thing in it. So yeah. And how are you, Dar? Haven't seen you for a hot second. think just timings weren't lining up very well. There we go. So I think that'll work. I want a base that actually looks like a base. Yes, that's why I made a giant spaceport just for trading. Yep, exactly. Like, that's just it. Like, you get it. You very much get what I'm talking about here. And I figured you would, to be honest. And I think we're gonna have to redo part of this. And that's okay. There we go. So what we're gonna have to redo is move these two and these two and basically just switch it. Or keep extending it over this opening here. And I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna extend it over the opening. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the timings are crazy and daylight savings isn't helping things. That's fair. Like, this morning, what I did, my morning, your 2 a.m., what I was doing was mainly, my first stream I did some artwork actually, and then the second one was some Stationeers. But I'm never gonna do anything really big on that like first Stationeers if I do continue doing 2 Stationeers in a day, because there's a lot of people not there, and really the reason I'm streaming it is A, I'm off work at the moment, and B is I don't always want to do a lot of like the cleaning up stuff not on stream. I do like to show the process of getting from, you know, the everything everywhere to, hey, this is starting to look nice, you know? And if nothing else, it's just so that I have the recorded video so that I can post it and do some cutting later. Because I think this is going to make a really nice, like, cut later on. Okay, where's the pipe come out of the fermenter? I feel like it comes out right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it comes out. Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and do this. We're just going to flip these 2 tanks around. That is definitely the easiest thing to do here. So, I am curious, by the way, there, Dar, what you think of my plan here. Basically, my plan is that the purge valve here, if the pressure effort gets too high, then it'll bleed off a little bit into this tank, right? And then if for some reason there's too much CH4 getting into the room so that it doesn't poison the entire base, it will dump that room's air entirely into a holding tank, this holding tank. And basically that way I save my base and I save extra air, etc., etc. And hopefully everything goes well. That is kind of my thought process here. There we go. And of course, anyone else who is lurking around, please feel free to speak up and let me know what you think of the plan as well. Always happy to hear different opinions about it. What do we need? Sheets, I think? There we go. Okay. And then... Ha! There it is. Perfect. So we'll go like this. Why am I 1 short? There it is. I'm actually more than 1 short. There we go. That goes like that. The purge valve's a good idea. Yeah. I was thinking that would work well because like the alcohol, you don't want it to get above a certain pressure, right? Most fluids you can keep pressure regulate easy just by temp regulating, since it just recondenses, but not with alcohol. Ah, yes. Yeah, I did a lot of reading about it, just trying to understand like the different documentation on the website. Because I do want this to go as smoothly as possible. There we go. Great. Once alcohol evaporates, it permanently becomes methane and never recondenses. Yes, that was my understanding when I was reading it. So I'm happy to hear it being repeated in the way that I think of it. That is always comforting to know that like my thought process is going well. I do the same thing with code as well. There we go. I'm just gonna flip those. Oh, no, that gas sensor. Oh, shoot. Looks like we are taking apart our fermenter yet again. There we go. I really should have kept a count of how many times I have assembled and disassembled this fermenter, because this is like, I don't even know how many times now. There we go. And sensors. There we go. Great. And then our vent. Goes there. Now we're gonna make it prettier than that. We're gonna put it like this. Perfect. You're procrastinating? What are you procrastinating from? What do you need to do that you haven't? There we go. Oh yeah, you know what else we did, Dar, actually, that you probably haven't seen too much of? Is the amount of rewiring we did to make everything like run much prettier and like properly separated circuits, and yeah, it's great. But I set up my big layer greenhouse the other day and I don't want to put in the work to set up the composters. Oh my goodness. I also am having issues bringing myself to do certain tasks like that. Yes, the yak shaving. Yes, exactly. The yak shaving. There we go. Although this I don't know. I'm actually really enjoying building this today. Like as soon as I decided, you know what, let's stop rushing it, I've actually started to really enjoy it, this part of it again properly. There we go. The cable network is the biggest source of yaks to shave. Yes, I actually full-heartedly agree with that. Oh my gosh, I think I might be able to... Ooh, ooh. Ooh, I will be very happy if I could do that. I think I can. Oh my goodness. I think I can get this entire thing fit into one little square. And that'll make me very happy. Because then I have less to worry about for my base. Because it's fine early game to just clutch it. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. I had multiple times where my power was needing more than 5 kilowatts. And yep. That's exactly what happened. And also why, if anyone else who's been lurking around hasn't seen it, the power to 1/2 of the base is completely done by transmitter. Even though it's only like 50 feet. What feels like 50 feet. Or 20 odd, 30 odd meters. 35 meters. What am I looking for here? I have no idea what I need to disassemble this with. Angle grinder. There it is. And then we need a hand drill and a wrench. Great. There we go. Let's grab that door. Composite door. Oh yeah. This is all gonna fit into one little tiny room. I'm so happy about it. Oh my goodness. Utilizing the interfloor space inside the frame to route my cables. Yeah, that's fair. I do it sometimes, but I do actually like being able to see where my cables are. And I broke my rule with some turbo vents, turbo pumps recently. If we come back over here, we'll show what I mean. Also, there's one of the power omnis for those lurkers who didn't see it earlier. And here we go. I really hate doing this, but there's turbo vents inside the frame. And it's like, not turbo vents, turbo pumps. But it's just the best spot they fit, so, you know, is what it is. Okay, so let's make sure we're not going to die. We're not like immediately at least. And then we need glass and the crowbar. There we go. Fantastic. Oh yeah, machines inside of frames, I definitely still avoid, yep. But cables and pipes I'm quite okay with. I would also like things to never do what I did, but I also just, it actually looked good and it was faster than trying to do it any other way. And it may change again, or it may end up staying like that forever. But we will see. Oh, I guess we just didn't have this hooked up before fully. Like, that's fine. It's not ideal, but it is fine. Okay, so we'll go grab some pipe. Oh, we do have pipe. There it is. And then wrench. Great. Turn it red. Red means it goes faster, right? But yeah, still something to avoid, at least for accessing the machine controls reasons. Yep, absolutely. Luckily, it's just pumps, and like, that filter is currently dedicated only to separating the nitrogen and the methane from composting. So I never need to access it again. It can just stay at 100, and it can stay at the one direction on it. Which is the only reason I justified to myself that this is an okay time to do this. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it. There we go. Great. So, let's see, where is that? Padding, arch, padding, padding, lights, no border, thin, thin, window, thin. Yes. Plastic. Fantastic. And then some glass. There we go. So if I'm not mistaken, this could have a whole like issue and it would be fine. Because basically what I've done is written a script that locks the door and dumps the air if something bad happens. So let's go ahead, grab it, and we're just gonna check, make sure I've got this right. Okay, so fermenter is 0, sensor 1, vent is 2, valve is 3, door is 4. Okay. And how are we doing on everything? Yeah, we're getting close to it. It's just like, let's go inside before we die kind of thing. So you are fermenter. You are sensor. Yes. Vent is 2. 3 should be the valve. And 4 should be the door. And with this on, you also need to be on, but not really at the moment. We should have no problem going like this, and like, oh, no. You're gonna go off automatically right now. Okay, so we're gonna pause for a second. It also means I'm gonna need an ungodly amount of, oh my gosh. Okay, so I gotta do a lot of composting. My first rocket is gonna be powered by alcho, which means I have to locally produce all of my nitrogen and turn it into nitrous. My goodness. It also means I'm gonna need an ungodly amount of power. Yeah, well, you're on Vulcan, though. Power's easy, like you said. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick bio break. I just need to grab some water. I'm out. Bio break. Water. BRB. I will be right back, everybody. And I'm gonna run those ads real quick, so I'll be right back. Here we go. Up to OBS. And Hello everybody, I'm back. I'm really happy to hear, Dar, that you love the artwork. I thought it was a good way to show it off, you know? Like, why not? Instead of just looking at like some random overlay or, you know, just the pause screen or something, why not show off some of my artwork for my portfolio? You know, and then people can kind of see like the artwork that's going into the games that I'm working on, and, you know. Thanks, Dar, I appreciate the feedback. Okay, sorry everybody, just that bio break took me a half second longer. So, what was going on? We had an issue with our script right away. So let's just go ahead and... Oh, because we have it saying... Yeah, okay, so this should be R1. No, it shouldn't be. It should be R2. The reason we want R2 here is R2D2 is very awesome. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Weird brain moment there. The reason we want it on is perfect. So it'll automatically go off if we have an issue. Yeah, okay, so we gotta make sure that that closes too. Sorry, everybody. So if we get too much methane built up in that little room, it'll dump all the air, and so we want the fermenter to turn off if that happens. And the other thing we want to happen is the door locks, and we want the S door here to also close. So it's going to also be run by R1, I believe. So we'll export it, throw that there. Should open, and then it closes. Great. Oh my god, can we not? Is there not? Oh, okay, there's the pad. I was like, oh my god. But realistically, we don't ever need in there. There shouldn't be any reason for us to go in there. So what we're gonna do is... How much health do we have? Enough. No, not really enough. Okay, where's the glass? There's our glass. We're just gonna go ahead, close that off. And then we're gonna head inside and we're going to add our passive vent to start pressurizing that room. There we go. And we also need to eat, drink, etc. Have some water. Our lovely garden is expanding more and more all the time. So lovely. Really do need to get the layers, whatever you want to call them, up and running properly so that things get collected and whatnot. Just grab a little bit more water and then we'll go take care of what we need to do. Are you kidding me? The one spot we can't put it. Oh, goodness. Come on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Great. There we go. My goodness. That was silly. You pronounce it Larry? That's fair. Okay, our KPA is staying at a nice, good level. We do have a ton of nitrogen and a ton of carbon dioxide. So like the only thing that would happen here is suffocation, not actually like going to a vacuum. And that just kind of lets it pressurize a little bit nicer. And You know what I just realized? I preferred mount. Oh, so it's similar to Amy and Harvey. That makes sense. That makes a lot. And Hemi, like the Hemi droid or whatever it is. Okay, okay. Larry it is. Larry. Okay. Okay, I can get behind that. So we are actually just going to pull this glass off because it isn't pressurized. It's that little room there that's pressurized. So what we're gonna do is that vent is flashing an error. Why? Guess we should also have made sure that this was like going in the right direction, that vent. We want it to be pulling inward. We can do that with a very simple setup with our code here. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that setting. I'm assuming it's setting. No, it's going to be mode. And I don't know which is which, so I'm just going to pull up a reference here. Vent. There we go. Power vent, passive vent, it's active vent. Active vent, mode 0 is outward, 1 is inward. Great. And we can set the mode here. So we'll go S, vent, mode 1. There we go. Confirm. We'll grab that, export, and then we'll throw it back in. I have to cram an error prevention snippet into my hydroponics Larry though. It's been a bug for a long time that if you save the game while a Larry is extending, it gets stuck in its extended. I've heard about that. You are probably the third person to mention that to me, and how annoying it is. Great, so that is working correctly. So the other part that we need to do here is write a second one. So we're going to edit this, we're going to create new, and this is going to be fermenter air dump. Dumps air in fermenter's room and closes valve that supplies it air. Fantastic. Sorry for the clicky clacky, everybody there. Massive hassle because the Larry reports being extended frequently during normal operation too. That makes sense. Yeah. It's like my script for my automated printers. There's a couple of bugs in it, and it's more a case of I don't want to hunt it down and find the correct solution for it, because if I just pull the chip and put it back in, it resets the entire thing and it works fine afterwards. Yeah, exactly. You've got to have like, yeah, it's a lot more to deal with that. Okay, so this is our first one. So we're gonna go ahead and clear this. And we're gonna go fermenter on off based on pressure in tanks. Okay. And we're gonna go alias fermenter db alias analyzer d1 alias pressure purge d2. And I only have maybe 20 lines from total remaining in the script. Whew. On top of that, if it gets stuck extended, it also doesn't report idle, which is the main switch in my script that reports if an arm should be calculated on that logic tick. So I can't even put the timer with the rest of my code. Ouch. Yeah, that's fun. So fun. So much fun. Let's go F1. We're gonna go purge. Purge valve. Great pair setting maximum. I'm assuming it's maximum, but let's double check. Purge. Purge valve. So if you're just joining us, we're just doing some setup for our fermenter and alcohol chat. We're talking a bit about a couple of different coding things for setting up automatic harvesting and whatnot. Would be great if it had been fixed in the last 2 years or so, but I guess RocketWorks is, yeah, shiny. If anyone's familiar with Firefly, I am totally addicted to saying shiny currently for whatever reason too. And it is great because Dar is also saying shiny lots. I do hope everybody's excited as well, not hope, but you know, I am very excited for the Firefly animated series that was announced by Nathan last month. What am I doing? Maximum. Maximum is a read. Read or written. Oh, okay. So setting. Setting can be written. Good. Main. We're gonna go ahead and take. We're gonna move. No. Okay. Think Lucy. We're gonna go S. We're gonna go purge. And I am totally happy with new shiny things, by the way. S purge, and it's going to be setting, and it's going to be under 6,000. So we want to say like probably 4,500. And then after that, we want to ensure it's on, or actually we're going to make sure it's on first. S purge on is a 1. S Anna. Gotta check our analyzer. Anna. Liquid pipe analyzer is going to read our pressure. It's just going to be called pressure. Pressure. No, you're reading, not setting. L, Anna. LR0 Anna pressure. Great. I'm feeling like I should probably rewrite the whole code. Probably you should. Never be able to implement this on a 5-arm controller. My greenhouse this time around just happens to only have 4 rows. Fair. What about using the, I was looking at some of the layer parts. What about using those screw pieces? Like, is it just more hassle? Are they not properly implemented? Is there a reason you're not using those instead of using more arms, out of curiosity? And then we want to go SLT, and we're going to go R1, and we're going to take max pressure, which we'll have to define in a moment here. If max pressure is less than R0, it's a 1. Which means fermenter, no, okay, if it's a 1, F1 fermenter. Sorry everybody, I will look at chat in just a second. I gotta kind of walk myself through something here. Okay. So it's probably a mode, would be my bet. We're gonna have to check the fermenter. Fermenter. Why can't you tell me? Okay, let's try atmospherics. Try kit atmospherics. Fermenter. Gotta think for a second, gotta think. More arms because of lots of hydroponics. Gotcha, gotcha. Each arm is responsible for 100 hydroponic pots already. Oh my god, that's massive. So you have 400 hydroponic pots? The arms are also very slow in the grand scheme of things. If I have more than 100, plants tend to start spending excessive amounts of time in their final growth where they're not actually producing anything usable. That makes sense. Also, oh my god, that's a lot. Crazy numbers. Like, crazy numbers. I'm gonna assume it's either mode or setting. And I'm just not 100% sure which it is. So give me 1 second. We're gonna look up printer. Let's grab the electronics printer. What's this? Okay, electronics printer. I need the data network properties, please. Data parameters, data network properties. There we go. Okay, regions on, required power, etc. But you don't have a setting like the fermenter. Damn it. Industrial amounts. Yes, I do remember, Dar. Industrial amounts. Each rocket launch could burn through upwards of 20,000 mole of alcohol. My god, how big are these rockets? With corn producing 40 mole per product, I would need 500 corn per launch. Yeah, that's a lot. That is definitely a lot. Idle is 0 power consumption. The fermenter consumes 10 watts when idle. Okay. So it's gonna be mode. That's what I thought. Normally, rocket fuel is easy, but alcohol is not available in space as far as I know. That's fair. You never know, we may find some somewhere, someday. Okay, so we want to say that if if R1 is, now I am confused. Okay, so register equals 1 if A is less than B. Okay, SLTZ, register is 1 if A is greater than 0, is less than 0. Okay, so SLT max R1 max R0. So we're setting R1 to 1 or 0 if the max pressure is less than what R0 is. That becomes a 1. I am absolutely gonna like talk to you in a second in chat there, Dar. I really need to like think for a moment here, sorry. Okay. So this will result in R1 being 0 most of the time. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. If A is less than B, otherwise 0. Okay, that's fine. And then I think it's a NOR. I think it's a NOR that we need. No, it's not a NOR. Ugh. Is it S? G? Z? No. SG? No. S? Oh. Okay. Sorry, everybody. 1 second. I gotta find this. Or I'm gonna lose my mind. Is it SLG? SS? No. Sub? No. Trunk? Zor? No. Nope. Nope. Register equals 1 if a... No. 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 Nope. SGTZ? Nope. Sorry, everybody. I'm just like talking myself through some logic for what I need here. Because basically what I need to do is... Okay. We're going to write it out and then we'll figure out the proper way to do it afterwards. So SLT R1 max P R0 is if... So this basically means R1 equals 1 if max P is less than R0. Okay. And we're going to set max P as 5,000. So we're going to define max P as 5,000. R0 is going to be whatever the pressure is. Rockets are amazing mining their own fuel because they can fairly easily pull down hundreds of thousands of moles per launch, but alcohol is exclusive to fermentation. Just glad nitrous is available in space, else I would need to double the amount of corn for composting as well. You're going to start up a dedicated? That's fair. That's a good idea. I do feel like starting up a dedicated like creative world just to play with code and like really figure it out is not a bad idea. Okay, so R1 equals 1 if max P is less than R0, which is great because that means that the fermenter, therefore fermenter mode setting 1 is true to allow fermenter to process. Else, if R1 equals 0, fermenter needs to idle. Fermenter needs to idle. Okay. We all get to see what's going on in my brain because I can't properly parse things here at the moment. So to make that happen, we go do we want to branch it or do we want to just keep it linear? I'd rather keep it linear. So if we go ahead and say is it not? Okay. So if we go not, no. Sorry everybody, I'm having a hard time with my logic today. If both bets, no. states if either one is peak are the value at the top of the stack. No. We do need a move. Why don't I have my move in there? We need to move our... No, we don't, because that's setting it that way. We don't need to move. Good. Oh, man. My brain is doing a thing to me tonight. Sorry, everybody. We're getting there. It's just taking me an extra minute. It's S. Wow. Wow. S fermenter mode R1. That took me a minute. To be fair, I was doing Houdini today, and that's always a little bit taxing. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and yield, and then jump back to the main. Pretty sure that'll work. And this should be process based on pressure in pipe. There we go, confirm. And we're gonna overwrite it, put it into there. Great, there we go. So now we should probably do a check to see if it'll work. So we'll go ahead, confirm it, put it in, export it. And we're gonna go ahead, make all of the crazy assumptions that this is gonna work perfectly. And we're gonna grab this piece of glass. I am so nervous. I really want this to work like first go, like really bad. Okay. Here we go. So, grab our chip. It's not gonna work because this is all kinds of angry. And let's check. Okay, D1 I said analyzer, which means D2 is going to be the purge valve. Okay. I can't turn you off. That's fine. Okay. Composite. No. 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 Yes. No. 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 Analyzer. Okay. Okay, DB, DO. Confirm. Index out of range at line 4. Okay. So let's take a look. Max pressure. Huh. Okay. Can I just go like this? Okay. We're gonna assume it's working. So we're gonna exit this little room. Okay. Okay. We'll grab a chute. There we go. And obviously we are not gonna test this with chocolate. No. This room should be good to go, so what we'll do is tear this wall down, which I believe is a crowbar. Great. Nothing came flying to kill us, which is even better. And let's see, angle grinder, okay. Plastic can go there for the moment, angle grinder. Let's do it. I'm stuck. There we go. So like obviously I know we still need to filter out water versus alcohol, but no, we haven't launched the tin can yet. We're getting ready to. I wanted to do a couple of things first there, Balin. Having at least 6,000 liters of water in one pipe network, totally fair there, Dar. But we did get this set up. So we're gonna give it a go right now. And we're gonna test it with watermelon. Let's test it with watermelon. Why not? Is that not? Can I not just? No, no I can't. Of course I can't. It's fine. It's fine. It is fine. I don't have enough shoot with me. You're starting to work on, or maybe more, a very nice Dar. And you're starting to work on your second one. Of course you are, Balin. I decided something this morning when I sat down and started playing a little bit, and when I got to a certain point today, I decided that I'm not going to rush things at the moment. I just kind of want to get certain things done, and I'm just going to take my time at it at the moment and see how it goes that way. Why is that not powered? Why does my... Oh god, I'm not going to be able to get back out properly. Oh my god. I just failed at life, everybody. Minorly, but I did. Oh, you're messing with me. Thank you. But actually, though, I did just like take a really deep breath today, and I'm like, you know what? Why am I rushing so much right now? I'm not a speedrunner. I just want to kind of enjoy, build some nice things, and kind of go from there. And it felt really good to kind of just be like, okay, let's take a breath. Also, I did not build a long enough pipe chute for the fertilizer. There's every possibility there's fertilizer in this currently. Oh no, you're locked in. Yeah, I am locked in. I am locked in. I made a critical mistake, everyone. And I am... Like, I know how to fix it. Like, I've got plenty of stuff to fix it with here. It's just frustrating. There we go. We're just gonna lose some air, that's all. Not much, but a bit. More than I would like. Let's put it that way, shall we? There we go. Do you need to convert your rocket? Totally fair. Maybe we didn't lose everything in that room. We'll see later. Anyway. So, what are we doing? Yes, getting chutes. We need some more chutes. We also need to fix this up here. Woo! There we go. We're just gonna steal this one right here. There we go. So that will give us our nice little inlet. Fantastic. Great. Oh, so silly. There's definitely worse things, though. Let's just, like, make sure that there's actually... Yeah, okay, there's glass there. Good. Good. Also, what is our current, like, air makeup in here? Oh, it's not too bad. The CO is a little higher than I'd like, but that's fine. I don't bother with a mining rocket unless I can cram at least 6 mining drills in it. Oh my god. That's so many. Okay, so let's do this. That's why I need Alknos for my first. That's, you know what, that's fair. That's fair. I get it. I get it. Let's go like this. Great. Oh. There we go. Is it working? Let me in. Oh my god, the door won't let me in. Come on. You worked before. Ugh. Alknos does 37 kilonewtons. Very powerful. Okay, well, maybe I wouldn't need Alknos for my very first rocket ever. You don't, and you know it. You just are crazy. In the best way. Crazy in the best way. There we go. That took a hot minute. Mode is idle. So either it worked, I didn't put enough in, or it's an utter failure. Oh my god. Just let me through the effing door. This is very exciting watching me get stuck behind a door that worked like 4 times and now it just won't work at all. Okay, so where's the grinder? There we go. Once it's working, we never need to worry about it again. That's the thing. Okay. So let's go check our pipes outside, I guess. And let's throw a little bit more watermelon at it. Because why not? There we go. But Vulcan's gravity is on the high side. That's fair. My OP collector launches and go to each of my outposts, load up. Oh my god, I didn't realize you did that with your rockets. That's wild. I didn't realize you did that with your rockets. That is a way to transport ore, I suppose, isn't it? So I feel like it's not working because there's nothing in any of the pipes except this one. Oh, that makes sense from when we did the test. Okay. So I don't think the fermenter's working. Probably because of the way we have the mode set up. That makes sense that they'd be good as couriers, to be honest. And you never have to worry about it again. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to pull this door back down for a second. And we're gonna pull this out and turn you off, turn you on. Why are you idle? Beats a 3 despite the absurd. Yeah, I can see how that would make sense. Is there like a minimum amount you need to put in to get the fermenter to work? Or have I just locked it into a mode here? Let's see. Let's edit. Pause for a second. And we're just going to set the mode as 1. Just automate ice collection. Confirm, export, close that. Yeah, that was the problem. Okay. Let's check our gas in here. Good. Okay, laptop. Edit. Okay, R1. You actually do need a flip. So you're going to be R2. And we're going to go... I think it's not. Performs a bitwise, so it becomes a 0. And if it's a 1, it becomes a... Okay. And SLT. Register is a 1 if A is less than B. Yeah, so it's a not. So we need a not. R2, R1, R2. Confirm. Export. Off, on. Okay, there's... Let's grab some strawberries. There we go. No, it's still idle. Edit. Pause. Okay. We're not going to worry about it right now. We shouldn't have any issues. This will still automate better than nothing. Great. Now we will close this off. There we go. Perfect. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Balin. I will go ahead and redo that real quick because I would like to have that set up properly. I was like, why is this not working? Why? But honestly, my brain's not working right tonight. Like, I'm having a time with it. I think we're going to call it here shortly just because, like, my brain's just having a time. Okay, so you said it's a sequence. And so if I go R2, R1, right? So what that should mean then is if our pressure is greater than 5,000, this becomes a 1, right? Or do I have that backwards? No. Using not on a 0 is fine because anything bigger than 0 is still a true signal as far as I see 10. No. Register is 1 if A is less than. So that means R1 is always a 0, is 0 95% of the time here, right? if it's less than 5,000, it registers as a 0 or a 1. But using not on a 1 turns it into something that's not 0. Interesting. If less than 5,000, it's true, so that would be a 1. A is less. But A is the first number. Is that not... Okay, 1 second. So this equals... We set R1 to 0 or 1 if 5,000 is less than whatever R0 is, right? If R0 is 100, that would be a 0, right? Is that right? If we set R1 to 0 if 5,000 is less than 100. Sequence is same as sequence, but except the B argument is always 0. Okay. Register equals 1 if A is equal to B, otherwise 0. Equals otherwise 0. Oh, gotcha. It's just flipped. So this is true. So this equals... Okay. We set R1 if 5,000 is less than 100. Really? That makes sense there. Line 13. Save greater than. Really? That means like there's issues all over my code, but it's working in other places. I am so confused. Cause like, I swear to God, you are, okay, thankfully, Balin, you're wrong, okay. Cause like, I'm like, oh my God, my life is a lie. Am I like, that dead today? Whew. Whew. Okay. And thank you, Dar, as well, for all of the inversion stuff about sequence and seeks. Yeah, I want the fermenter to turn on if there's less than 5,000. And if it's greater than 5,000, the fermenter should turn off. Okay. So... then you don't need a flip. Okay, so R1 is going to be mode 1 most of the time. Yeah, okay. So that should work. Should work. Let's export it. It's currently working. And that didn't work. Yeah, so that didn't work. Oh, of course not. Export. Nope, still not working. Yeah, since R0 is the B argument. Okay, since R0 is the B argument to the SLT, the instruction is effectively inverted already. Since instead checking is R0 less than 5,000, is checking is 5,000 less than R0, which is functionally identical to checking is R0 greater than 5,000. Yeah. And if it's not, okay. SLT, if register equals 1 if A is less than B, otherwise it's 0. So we do need to flip it. We do absolutely need to flip it. And we flip it with a sequence. Register equals 1 if A is equal to B, otherwise 0. Or SGT. Try flipping it? I will flip it. I am happy to try flipping it. Like that. Thank you, Dar. I think you're right. Like, once this is done, that is it for me tonight. Like, my brain is just not functioning. Just a really heavy day for me overall. It's functioning. Thank you, Dar. Balin. Balin, thank you. And Dar, thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay. It is working. So we're going to close this door. And we will deal with the fact that the door will not stay open for more than 0.5 of a second later. Tonight, this works. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a whole lot of fun and make a ton of alcohol. Go, my pretties. Why the door? I don't know. Why the door? Because I like to get in there? Realism? I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Nah, I'm not gonna cry. I'm just tired. I'm making fun of things. No, I don't have a good answer for you. I just like having things look nice, I guess. Okay. Yeah, you're right. There is no need. You are 100% correct. Oh, why is it in its own room like this? In case something happens and it decides to off-gas CH4 into the room. Just in case. But, yeah. Does the trick. There's also this thing here that'll pull it. So if any CH4 ends up in this room, it'll just dump the air and turn this pipe off completely. Someone was telling me it could happen. And like, honestly, I didn't really question it. I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, this can go over here. There we go. If you blow a pipe, yeah. Seeds can go there. I think our fridge likely needs to move. This definitely needs to move. But I think we're gonna call it a night. Because this is great. This is also worth asking, I think, but where's the polluted water getting removed from your alcohol product? Because the fermenter isn't polite enough to just give you pure alcohol. Now, Dar, you have hit upon the magical question. And the answer to this magical question of how is it getting separated is incredibly complex, and I think you're going to be impressed with my answer to it. Or at least I hope you're impressed by the answer to it. Just let me check one thing. Oh my god, as if we just got an ad break. After the ad break, I will show you. Yeah, go ahead, Balin. If you don't have ads, please, by all means, continue. Hey, end of ad. Sorry, everybody. It 100% caught me off guard tonight. The ads, right at the end there. Sorry about that. Okay, so Balin, what was the one last thing you wanted to ask? And then we will go and do the ridiculous show of how we're going to deal with alcohol. Place my suit in my backpack? Oh, yeah, we're going to do that in a second. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back and do that in a second. While everybody was gone, I just took care of taking care of some air, and I started printing off a couple more frames so that we can actually start having a proper walkway around with the different parts of our base here. Maybe we'll take another couple minutes and take care of this. You're gonna tell me I can fix my backpack by going inside and putting my suit in my backpack, is that right? Is that what's gonna happen here? Or are you gonna show me the trick to repair stuff without having to use duct tape? Because I don't remember. Kinda, yes. Yeah. Alright there, Dara. This is our amazing solution to the alcohol and water problem. It is called absolutely nothing currently. We don't have a solution yet. We have our alcohol, which for some reason is turning into CH4 in there. I'm not sure why that's happening. Oh, okay, it stopped. That's good. Nope, there it goes again. Oh my god, haha. Yeah, it's a great solution, right? But I don't know why the CH4 is still off-gassing. That doesn't make sense. Why the alcohol's off-gassing. Yeah, I do know that it evaporates into the CH4. I just don't know why it's doing it. I thought it didn't do it unless... Is the temperature? Oh, once at pressure. What's the pressure gotta be? Oh, it can't into pure vacuum. Gotcha. Okay, so it's just gonna do it for a little bit and then it'll even off and then just fill with liquid. Okay. Good to good. Good. No more changes. It's still off-gassing. Maybe not. Oh, got it, got it. So it's just going to take a minute, but it will eventually even off and stop. Okay, that's fine. Not going to worry about it. That's fine. We can use the CH4 for other things later. But yeah, that is my entire current plan about it. And with that, we will head back inside, fix our suit, and we're going to call it a night there and do a quick raid. I'm not sure who to yet, but yeah, we'll do a quick raid after. Yeah, I'm just going to let it off gas. It's fine. It's not enough of a issue. So you wanted my jetpack, is that right? Is that where you wanted it? Or did you want it somewhere else? We should eat. That works. Okay. So now what? Now that it's in there. Now press sort. Oh, good God. It did fix it. That's hilarious. That's kind of too funny. That's too funny. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to pause for a second and we're going to do a raid. If someone has a request on who we're going to raid, please do let me know. It fixed my suit entirely. There was some damage to it and sorting fixed it. let's see. Okay, so there's two people. There's two people streaming Stationeers at the moment. Do we want to go and say hi to someone on Venus or on Europa? Do we have a preference? I love that we can share things in chat on different tips that we may not know. It makes me very happy. Let's go to Europa. I think I like the Europa. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's go see Europa. Venus is stinky and yellow. Totally fair. So let's do it. Just gotta find my raid button because apparently I am that tired that I can't even remember where that is. Man, it has been a day. There it is. Same category. Let's do it. Off to Europa. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you coming out tonight and chilling out with me while we do some fun stuff on the moon. And I will be back tomorrow, of course. And I hope to see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Write a whole script and realize I wrote all the wrong stuff. Yeah, I think we're in the process of starting over right now. Lulu failed.